The air was thick with anticipation as Kelly Clarkson stepped onto the set of Today with Jenna Friends, her vibrant energy lighting up the studio. Known for her powerhouse vocals and down-to-earth charm, Kelly was there to promote her latest single and discuss her Las Vegas residency. The audience buzzed with excitement, expecting the usual mix of laughter, heartfelt stories, and perhaps a song or two. Jenna Bush Hager, the show's charismatic host, welcomed Kelly with her signature warmth, while guest co-host Matt Rogers added a playful vibe to the mix. The conversation kicked off smoothly, with Kelly sharing anecdotes about her kids, River and Remy, and her journey as a single mom. Fans watching live and at home were glued to their screens, captivated by her relatability. But beneath the surface, subtle tensions began to simmer. A seemingly innocent question from Jenna about Kelly's dating life sparked an unexpected shift in her demeanor. Kelly's smile faltered, and her response was curt, hinting at discomfort. The audience didn't notice at first, but those familiar with Kelly's candid nature could sense something was off. As the segment progressed, the questions grew more personal, touching on her divorce from Brandon Blackstock and her struggles in the public eye. Kelly, usually open, seemed to bristle at the probing. The exchange felt less like a friendly chat and more like an interrogation, with Jenna and Matt unaware of the line they were crossing. By the time the conversation veered into Kelly's wardrobe choices for her new music video, the atmosphere had shifted dramatically. Kelly's voice, usually warm and inviting, took on a sharper edge as she addressed the criticism she's faced over the years. The studio, once filled with light-hearted banter, now held a palpable tension, setting the stage for what would become a viral moment no one saw coming. The cameras kept rolling, capturing every glance and gesture, as the interview teetered on the edge of something explosive. Kelly's fans, ever loyal, would later take to social media to dissect every word, wondering what exactly pushed their idol to her breaking point. This wasn't just another talk show appearance, it was the prelude to a dramatic clash that would dominate headlines and spark endless debates across platforms like X and TikTok. As the interview continued, the dynamic between Kelly Clarkson and the hosts grew increasingly strained. Jenna Bush Hager, perhaps aiming to keep the conversation lively, pressed Kelly on her bold fashion choices, referencing comments about her sexiest music video yet. Matt Rogers chimed in, his tone playful but oblivious to Kelly's growing discomfort. The singer, who has been vocal about the cruel criticism she's faced throughout her career, didn't shy away from addressing it. She spoke passionately about the double standards in the industry, her voice steady but laced with frustration. The audience, initially cheering her empowerment, began to sense the shift as her words grew pointed. Kelly recounted how she's been called slutty for wearing form-fitting outfits, a revelation that stunned the crowd into silence. Jenna, attempting to pivot, asked about Kelly's kids to lighten the mood, but the question only seemed to deepen the rift. Kelly's response was polite but clipped, emphasizing that her children are her focus, not the media's narrative about her personal life. The hosts, perhaps unaware of the depth of her feelings, pushed forward with questions about her Las Vegas shows, but Kelly's answers grew shorter, her body language tense. The studio lights felt hotter, the cameras more intrusive, as the exchange veered into dangerous territory. A comment from Matt about the pressures of fame seemed to strike a nerve, and Kelly's eyes flashed with a mix of defiance and exhaustion. She leaned forward, her voice rising as she called out the relentless scrutiny she's endured since American Idol. The audience, now fully aware of the tension, shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Producers in the control room exchanged worried glances, sensing the segment was spiraling. Kelly's fans would later praise her for standing her ground, while others questioned if the hosts had crossed the line. The moment was raw, unfiltered, and quintessentially Kelly, unafraid to speak her truth, even if it meant disrupting the polished facade of morning television. Social media was already lighting up with clips of the exchange, as viewers debated whether this was a justified outburst or a moment of lost composure. The tipping point came when Jenna Bush Hager, perhaps trying to salvage the segment, asked Kelly about her plans for finding love again. The question, meant to be light-hearted, landed like a bombshell. Kelly's face froze, and for a moment, the studio was silent except for the faint hum of the cameras. She leaned back, removed her earpiece, and set it on the table with deliberate care, a gesture that sent shockwaves through the audience. "I'm not here to talk about my love life," she said, her voice calm but firm, cutting through the tension like a knife. The hosts, caught off guard, tried to laugh it off, but Kelly wasn't having it. She stood, her chair scraping against the floor, and addressed the audience directly. "This is why I don't do these shows anymore," she said, her words dripping with exasperation. "It's always about what sells, not what's real." The crowd gasped, some applauding her boldness, while others sat in stunned silence. Jenna's smile faltered, and Matt's attempts at humor fell flat as Kelly continued, critiquing the media's obsession with sensationalism. She spoke of the toll it takes, the way it distorts her truth and reduces her to headlines. The producers scrambled, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let the moment play out. Kelly, now fully in command, didn't trace her voice but delivered her words with a clarity that resonated. She walked toward the edge of the stage, mic still in hand, as if debating whether to leave entirely. The audience was riveted, torn between shock and admiration. On X, posts exploded with hashtags like #TeamKelly and #TalkShowDrama, as fans shared clips of her standing up to what they saw as invasive questioning. Critics, however, argued she overreacted, accusing her of being unprofessional. The moment was raw, unscripted, and vis-a-vis exactly the kind of television that thrives in the age of viral content. Kelly's walk-off wasn't just a moment, it was a statement, one that would fuel debates about authenticity, privacy, and the cost of fame. As Kelly Clarkson stood at the edge of the stage, the studio was a pressure cooker of emotions. The audience, still processing her words, watched as she took a deep breath, her expression a mix of resolve and vulnerability. Jenna Bush Hager, visibly shaken, tried to steer the conversation back to safer ground, offering an apology that felt more like damage control than genuine remorse. "We didn't mean to upset you, Kelly," she said, her voice wavering. But Kelly, now unmiked and unfiltered, wasn't ready to let it go. She turned to the audience, her eyes scanning the crowd, and spoke from the heart. "You all deserve better than this," she said, gesturing to the set. "You deserve real conversations, not this tabloid nonsense." The crowd erupted in applause, some standing in support, while others whispered in confusion. Matt Rogers, attempting to defuse the situation, made a joke about needing a commercial break, but it only underscored the disconnect. Kelly shook her head, a faint smile breaking through her frustration, and walked off the stage, leaving the hosts scrambling. The cameras followed her until she disappeared behind the curtains, a move that sent the internet into a frenzy. Back in the studio, Jenna and Matt fumbled through a transition to the next segment, their usual polish replaced by awkwardness. Producers cut to commercial, but the damage was done. Clips of Kelly's exit were already circulating online, racking up millions of views. On platforms like TikTok, fans hailed her as a hero for calling out the media, while detractors labeled her dramatic. The debate raged on X, with users posting side-by-side comparisons of Kelly's words and the host's questions, analyzing every nuance. Some pointed to Kelly's history of speaking out against industry pressures, citing her past interviews where she's discussed body shaming and media scrutiny. Others speculated that personal struggles, including her divorce, made her more sensitive to the line of questioning. Regardless, the moment was a cultural flashpoint, sparking discussions about the ethics of celebrity interviews and the boundaries hosts should respect. The aftermath of Kelly Clarkson's walk-off was nothing short of a media storm. Within hours, news outlets from TMZ to CNN were covering the incident, with headlines ranging from Kelly Clarkson's explosive Today Show exit to "Did Jenna Bush Hager push Kelly too far?" Social media platforms buzzed with reactions, as fans and critics dissected the viral clips frame by frame. On X, #Kelly Clarkson walkout trending worldwide, with users sharing memes, opinions, and hot takes. Some praised Kelly for her authenticity, arguing that she was right to call out invasive questions. "She's a human, not a headline," one user posted, earning thousands of likes. Others felt she overreacted, with comments like, "It's a talk show, not therapy. Deal with it. The polarized reactions highlighted the divide between those who see celebrities as public property and those who demand respect for their privacy. Meanwhile, Kelly's team issued a brief statement, saying she needed a moment and thanking fans for their support. Jenna Bush Hager took to Instagram, posting a vague apology about miscommunications without directly addressing Kelly. The lack of a clear resolution only fueled the fire, as speculation grew about what happened off-camera. Some reports suggested Kelly had warned producers about sensitive topics, while others claimed the hosts were blindsided by the reaction. Behind the scenes, NBC executives were reportedly in crisis mode, weighing how to handle the fallout. The incident also reignited conversations about Kelly's relationship with the media, with fans pointing to her past struggles with body image and divorce coverage as context for her frustration. On TikTok, a montage of Kelly's most candid moments gained traction, showing her long history of pushing back against unfair treatment. The walk-off wasn't just a fleeting moment, it tapped into a broader cultural reckoning about how we treat public figures. As the story spread, it became clear that this wasn't just about Kelly or Jenna, it was about the line between entertainment and exploitation. The ripple effects of Kelly Clarkson's dramatic exit extended beyond the immediate fallout, sparking a deeper conversation about the state of talk shows in 2025. Industry insiders began weighing in, with some defending Jenna Bush Hager's approach as standard for morning television, where personal questions drive ratings. Others argued that the format is outdated, failing to adapt to a world where celebrities like Kelly are more empowered to set boundaries. On X, media analysts posted threads breaking down the economics of talk shows, noting how viral moments like this one boost viewership but risk alienating guests. Kelly's walk-off also prompted comparisons to other high-profile celebrity meltdowns, from Kanye West's infamous rants to Naomi Campbell's confrontations. Yet, what set Kelly apart was her eloquency, as she didn't scream or curse but delivered a measured critique of modern journalism. Fans rallied around her, launching petitions to boycott Today with Jenna Friends until a formal apology was issued. Meanwhile, Kelly stayed silent on social media, letting the clips speak for themselves. Some speculated she was strategizing her next move, possibly addressing the incident on her own show, The Kelly Clarkson Show. Others believed she was taking time to focus on her kids, who she's consistently prioritized. The incident also shed light on Jenna Bush Hager's hosting style, with some critics arguing she lacks the sensitivity needed for delicate interviews. Supporters, however, pointed to her track record of warm, engaging conversations, suggesting Kelly's reaction was unpredictable. The clash highlighted the tightrope hosts walk between keeping things light and digging for emotional gold. As the story continued to dominate headlines, it became a case study for media students and pop culture enthusiasts alike, with think pieces exploring themes of authenticity, mental health, and the pressures of fame. Kelly's walk-off wasn't just a moment of drama, it was a catalyst for rethinking how we engage with celebrities in the public eye. As days passed, the Kelly Clarkson walk-off saga took on a life of its own, with new details emerging to fuel the narrative. Sources close to the production claimed that Kelly had arrived at the Today Show set in good spirits, but tensions arose during a pre-interview briefing when she reiterated her boundaries around personal questions. Allegedly, producers assured her the conversation would focus on her music and Vegas residency, but the hosts veered off script. This betrayal, some argued, was what pushed Kelly to her limit. On X, fans shared screenshots of old interviews where Kelly discussed her frustration with media overreach, lending credence to her outburst. Meanwhile, Jenna Bush Hager faced increasing scrutiny, with some calling for her to step back from hosting duties temporarily. Her supporters countered that she was simply doing her job, caught in the crossfire of Kelly's raw emotions. The incident also sparked a wave of solidarity from other celebrities, with stars like Pink and Lizzo posting cryptic messages about knowing your worth and setting boundaries. Kelly's silence, however, remained the loudest statement, as she avoided public appearances and focused on her family. Speculation swirled about whether she'd address the incident on her own show, with fans eagerly awaiting her next move. The Kelly Clarkson Show, known for its positivity and authenticity, seemed the perfect platform for her to reclaim the narrative. Meanwhile, NBC scrambled to control the damage, with reports of internal meetings about how to prevent similar incidents. The walk-off also prompted a broader discussion about mental health in the entertainment industry, with advocates praising Kelly for prioritizing her well-being. On TikTok, a new wave of videos emerged, with creators reenacting the moment or offering heartfelt tributes to Kelly's courage. The incident, now cemented as a defining moment of 2025 pop culture, showed no signs of fading, as fans and critics alike awaited Kelly's next chapter. The legacy of Kelly Clarkson's walk-off from Today with Jenna Friends will likely endure as a pivotal moment in her career and in the landscape of daytime television. It wasn't just about the single interview gone wrong, it was a bold stand against the commodification of personal struggles for entertainment. Kelly's actions resonated with a generation tired of seeing celebrities dissected for clicks and views. On X, the #TeamKelly continued to trend, with fans sharing stories of how her music and authenticity have inspired them. Some called for a shift in how talk shows operate, demanding more respect for guests' boundaries. Others saw it as a wake-up call for hosts like Jenna Bush Hager to rethink their approach. The incident also highlighted Kelly's evolution from American Idol winner to a cultural force unafraid to challenge the status quo. Her silence in the days following spoke volumes, allowing the public to fill the void with their own interpretations. Meanwhile, The Kelly Clarkson Show saw a surge in viewership, as fans tuned in hoping for a response. Industry experts predicted that Kelly would use her platform to address the incident with grace, perhaps turning it into a teachable moment about respect and authenticity. The walk-off also sparked a broader movement, with fans launching campaigns like #RespectCelebrityBoundaries to advocate for change in media practices. On the flip side, some argued that Kelly's exit set a dangerous precedent, potentially discouraging open dialogue at talk shows. Yet, the overwhelming sentiment leaned toward admiration for her courage. As the dust settled, the incident became a case study in resilience, reminding everyone that even stars like Kelly Clarkson are human, with limits that deserve respect. The story, far from over, left an indelible mark on pop culture, proving that sometimes, walking away is the most powerful statement of all.